Hey guys, a very good morning and welcome to a new daily market outlook. So, a little bit sad, a little bit hungover. England, of course, lost the Euros final against Italy in penalties. So yeah, kind of sad about that. But yeah, it is what it is. We have to continue. The grind never stops. So with that said, let's dive into the markets and see what has been going on last night. So to begin with, the DXY, the DXY has been playing out to absolute perfection. If we just start on the weekly time frame, because the weekly time frame is a very interesting time frame as of now, what we can then see is that we have been rejecting that 50 EMA, which I talked about, I think it was Friday during our live session, to absolute perfection. So we've seen a bearish weekly close alongside the rejection of the 50 EMA. And rejection of this weekly area of supply. So the weekly is looking really good for a further push back down. But yeah, of course, we have to look at the daily and see if that is in accordance with our bias as well. And looking at the daily, it does look good as well. What I do find a little bit sad is that we still haven't hit that area of supply on the daily, only that area of supply on the weekly. So the supply on the daily starts at 92.989 and above. And I still do see us coming up there potentially to form that weekly wick and tap into that daily supply before then heading back down in towards the lows. And you then might ask, or you might be wondering, is like, okay, well, why is he looking for some potential more upside before heading further in towards the lows? Well, the main reason has to do with the fact that if we look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we have been evolving into this new kind of structure. And what do I mean by that? Well, of course, we had the channel over here, starting from over here and over here. However, what we have to understand is that the difference between this high and this high, the distance between the two highs was very far, while the distance between this high and this high is not that far at all. Therefore, what could potentially happen is that there could be a new structure, starting to form over here with a 1, 1, 2, 2, and then one more push up in towards the highs for either that third trend touch, which is situated within supply, or a fake out on that second high. So what supports this bias or potential price pattern is the fact that we are currently situated within this descending wedge or channel. We have matured and we are currently situated within this area of 4-hour demand. So today I do expect a pullback on the DXY to occur to at least this area of 4-hour supply at 92.460 to then see a further drop. If we do push up higher, I do expect us to potentially either reject from this zone, see a fake out, or see that third trendline touch. So my bias is unchanged. I am still very bearish on the dollar. However, it is Monday, so we have to keep our options open and see what the market gives us. So yeah, bearish on the DXY as we have tapped into that weekly area of supply, rejected that 50 EMA once again, and we have seen that weekly bearish close. So yeah, we could just be forming a top wick as of today and tomorrow before then heading back down lower. So yep, that is DXY for you. And with that said, let's head over to Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar has been playing out to absolute perfection. As you guys can see, we have been moving back up in towards the highs as expected. So currently my stop loss is set to break even, so all risk is off the table. So let me just remove the risk reward tool for a sec, and let's have a genuine look at what Aussie dollar at the moment is currently doing, because what we can see is that Aussie dollar did push up in towards the highs after tapping in towards this area of demand and giving us channel maturement. So essentially some buys and a pullback back up higher does look good at the moment. But if we just have a quick look at the weekly, weekly is retesting structure over here. So weekly is kind of looking good, to be honest. Let's go back to the daily. Yeah, daily is also looking good for a pullback in my opinion still, as we have tapped in towards this area of demand, taken out all the lows down below over here, because as you guys can see we had this swing low over here. So taken out all the stop losses situated underneath the lows, and we have been giving a sign of a potential reversal on the daily and the 4-hour in the form of that descending wedge. So a push higher definitely looks good still on Aussie dollar. But what needs to happen is that we have to break through this area of 4-hour supply, because this area of 4-hour supply is currently what is holding us back. So with that said, we could see a pullback alongside that potential DXY bullishness, and a pullback could occur all the way back in towards this area of demand, to create a potential double bottom before then heading up higher. So yeah, that is Aussie dollar for you. And with that said, let's head over to euro dollar. So euro dollar, very interesting pair as well, as you guys can see, played out absolutely beautifully. And just quick glance at the weekly time frame. As you guys can see, the weekly time frame rejected this area of demand, because this is a area of demand on the weekly over here, and we have been rejecting that. So the weekly really looks good for some bullish price action. Then going back down towards the daily is also looking good for bullish price action. So as you guys can see, euro dollar currently dropping a bit, mainly has to do with the fact that the DXY is looking a little bit bullish for the start of the week. However, what we have to take into consideration is the fact, of course, that we have been rejecting that weekly area of demand, and also are near the daily area of demand, which we've just missed. So taking into consideration that we have missed that daily area of demand, I do potentially still see us coming down lower. And this mainly has to do with the fact that we are currently situated within this area of an ascending wedge, right? So as you guys can see, we currently have the 1, 2, and then a fake out on the second high. Just missed the third trendline touch, but still fake out on the second high, so channel maturement, and we could start dropping from here. So what I'm looking at the moment is a potential drop on euro dollar. Not a big fan of taking longs at the moment, because I do potentially see us dropping back down in towards demand before really making a push back up higher. So yeah, that is it kind of. I'm not going to be looking for any longs at the moment, because of the channel maturement, and I'll just be waiting to see if we get some better buys from a better location down below over here. Yeah, so I hope that's clear on euro dollar. With that said, let's head over to pound dollar. And pound dollar, so pound dollar looking pretty good, as you guys can see, fake out on this swing high, so we could start seeing some potential downside on this pair. So it did seem as if we had this descending wedge, however we never saw a fake out on that second low at least, so therefore no channel maturement, and therefore that wedge is invalid essentially. So at the moment what we can see over here is that we currently have this ascending channel formation with the 1, the 2, and now a third trendline touch essentially, if you would just adjust it a little bit. This. So third trendline touch and a fake out on that second high, which is really a sign of bearishness to come. Sad that we didn't tap in towards 1.39230, but still pound dollar is looking very good for a potential pullback back down in towards the lows. So quickly looking at the 1 hour, as you guys can see, overextended move, run up in towards the highs, fake out on that high. So I am expecting pound dollar to push down lower. So what we're currently potentially forming is an ascending channel on the overall impulse in towards the lows, and as you can see, it is also a 618 fib retracement. So yeah, expecting some further downside on pound dollar back down in towards this 1.37926 area, unless the DXY of course gives us signs that the pound, or excuse me, the dollar will be extremely bearish. So yeah, that is GBPUSD for you. Let's head over to Kiwi dollar. And Kiwi dollar rejecting 4-hour supply as of now. So as you guys can see, we already had the larger ascending channel in which we matured. After that, started moving back down in towards the lows. However, we came in towards the lows with this descending channel or wedge. Therefore, we have been seeing some bullish price action. However, the overall structure on Kiwi dollar isn't really looking that good. I'll have to wait and see what happens today and tomorrow probably as well, until I can really give you guys a better bias on what I expect from Kiwi dollar. But at the moment, I am expecting some rejection or a push further in towards the lows, with my main target being this gray box over here. So let me just remove this one over here. 0.69504 is the zone that I am targeting before seeing one more push back up potentially. Yep. So that is kind of what I'm looking for. One more push back down in towards the lows, mark out this swing high. So see a push back down lower, come back up for the double top, take out stops, and then potentially make a real move back down lower. So yeah, that is kind of it, playing ping pong in between these two zones. So yeah, with that said, let's just have a quick glance at gold before we end this stream. So gold looking really consolidative. As you guys can see, we have this area of supply within the market. This is kind of our last line of defense before heading up higher in towards 1852. So currently just consolidating on gold, not much happening, just really ranging sideways. So I am going to be waiting for a fake out on the low, push up, take out stop losses situated underneath. So we could see gold being bearish alongside the DXY bullishness, make a fake out on the lows, and then start pushing up higher. Yeah, that's kind of what we're going to have to wait for. Essentially, gold is just consolidating, so there's not a lot to say. I will update you guys on Discord if I see any developments on gold. So yeah guys, that was all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions whatsoever, make sure to join the free Discord. The link is in the description down below. Thank you all once again, and I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Thanks guys.